How honored I am to be here, to be doing this wedding for you. I remember when you were born, held in my arms. Very emotional for me. Enough of that. Many of you have not seen an Orthodox wedding service. It's a very ancient service. This is not how the church first did marriages, however. It used to be a very simple thing. Couples would go to the city hall and get registered, and then they went to church and took communion together. And there probably was a prayer, a blessing for the wedding and all that stuff. But that was it, and now it's turned into this really beautiful service. And what's left of that time is this cup here, which has wine in it, which is in remembrance of those days when the wedding liturgy was in the liturgy itself, the Eucharist. That's what's left. Now we have this beautiful thing. It's wonderful to note all the symbolism in this service. First of all, you might be a little interested in the crowning. Your crown is crooked too. You've got to keep it straight, you know? It's actually a very, very ancient practice. 2nd century, maybe even earlier than that. But this was something that the church did because we recognize that today something new has been created. There's a new kingdom in this world. The kingdom of Matthew and Ashley. Or Ashley and Matthew. I'm going to get to that in just a second. We also have a lot of other things. We're going to do a little dance here in a little bit. If you've ever seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding, you've all seen it at least once. That little going around the table is a dance of celebration. It's called the Dance of Isaiah, and when the choir sings the hymn, you'll recognize that Isaiah is mentioned in the first hymn. Lots of other symbolism. We won't go into all of it, but I want to start now to talk about the epistle reading. Now, I'm from Cambridge, Massachusetts, and you know about Massachusetts. We're a bunch of liberal people there, and whenever we read this epistle, we talk about submission. All the women go, "Father, I don't get that. That's not modern." Well, let me tell you something about this epistle that you don't know. St. Paul is, of course, writing according to his time. He's using the language of his age, which is not necessarily the language of our age. But he did something amazing in this epistle. The first time ever in ancient literature that men and women, husbands and wives, were equated with one another. He started out just like the men wanted him to. Wives, submit yourselves to your husbands. Now the men were probably, "Yes, Paul, that's right. Say it again. Preach it, Paul." But watch. He turns the tables on the men. And he says to them, "Husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church." Now what does that mean? What did Christ do for the church? He suffered and he died for the church. Now, Matthew, let me ask you, which is worse? Which is harder? Submission or dying? Alright, you can take a look. Alright, and you better. I'll be after you if you don't. So what Paul did for the very first time is he equated men and women. Now, when he speaks of submission, we have to remember what Christ said about it. He said, "I did not come to be served. I came to serve." That's what you do for one another. And he said, according to the Gentiles, they lord it over each other. I've heard people preach about, "Men, you got to really knuckle down on those wives of the earth," you know? But Jesus said, "It shall not be so among you. It shall not be so among you." In Christ there is neither male nor female, Jew nor Greek, slave nor free. What is he saying? We're all equal in Christ, and we're all to die for one another. Now, there's a beautiful thing here in marriage. You're not dying for one another. You're dying for your relationship. You're going to do what each other says. You're going to listen to each other carefully. And you're going to follow the will of the other more than your own. That's what it means to serve. Now, you think you love one another. You love one another? Do you? You think you do? Well, let me tell you something. When my wife, your godmother, and I were engaged, walking around down there somewhere, she could tell you the address. And we were talking to each other, it was serious talk you have when you're engaged, right? And she looked at me and she said, "Do you love me?" And I thought, oh my goodness. I don't want to just say yes because that seems so trite. And then I remembered the teachings of the church. Love is the end of the road, not the beginning. You won't know what love is until you're 85. Now here's a story Father Schmidt, one of the great priests and theologians of the Orthodox Church in the 20th century, told us in class. He said, "I was walking along the Seine River in Paris at dusk. Beautiful time. And I looked over and on a park bench, and there was an old man and an old woman sitting there holding hands." He said, "I just stopped and watched them for the longest time. And they never said a word. They just sat there and held hands." And he said, that is love. When it's all been said, when all the passions have burned out, when all the fighting is over, when all the kids are grown up and in college or wherever, having their own kids, and there you are on a park bench watching the sun go down. One. You'll know what love is. And I'm praying that you get there. And I believe that you will. Support from your wonderful families. Your family actually is amazing. And Matt, I've known yours forever. Some of them, the ones I just met, are equally amazing. We're all here to help you whenever you need us. God is here to help you. One other thing in the Orthodox service that I need to mention is there are no vows in this service. They've already decided that they want to do this. They said so at the beginning. And from that point on, God took over this service, and He is the one who will join you together as one flesh. Because we can't do that on our own. God will do that, and has done that. And it's the beginning of the road, not the end. So, that's what I have to say. Two more things. Actually, I want to get it all out because I love you so much. Joseph Campbell, one of the great symbologists and academics in America during the last century, wrote a little bit about marriage. He said, if you think marriage is a lifelong love affair, you got another thing coming. Marriage is an ordeal that you face together. Alright? He also said this, marriage is the interview that never ends. So wake up every morning and talk to each other, communicate with each other. And also something Thomas Merton said, the great Roman Catholic mystic, he said, the beginning of love is to accept the other as exactly as they are, and do not ever twist them to your own image. So you are not to change her, and you are not to change him. Any change that is to be done, you'll be together as one person. I think I'm done. I love you both. And I'm so happy to be here. And, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I miss my key. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Would you stand, everyone?